let me tell you something that will change the way you think about dating, relationships, and, most importantly, your value. There's a rule I live by that I call the $50,000 date rule. And it's not about money. It's about energy, investment, and the absolute understanding that if someone cannot match the value you bring to their life, they are not even qualified to enter your world. I remember the first time I applied this rule, I was meeting someone for dinner. Someone who had charm, who had status, who had a reputation that made heads turn, but as the evening unfolded, subtle red flags started showing. He didn't anticipate. He didn't observe. He didn't honor my time or the space I carried with me. And in that moment, I realized something extraordinary. The amount of energy, attention, and care someone is willing to spend on you is a direct reflection of how they perceive your value, and this doesn't just apply to dating. My queens, this is a universal truth. Philosophers like Seneca talked about the currency of attention, how our focus is the most precious thing we give. And psychologists reinforce that humans are wired to value what costs them something tangible, whether that's time, effort, or resources. So I did something revolutionary. I stopped adjusting my energy to fit his. I stopped explaining. I stopped bending to accommodate him. And I let the universe and him measure against the $50,000 standard. The concept is intoxicating, almost audacious, because it forces you to see the world differently. Every interaction, every coffee, every dinner, every text is a transaction of energy and respect. And if he can't meet you at the level you define, he's not your partner, he's your lesson. And that shift, that recognition, transforms how you walk into every room, every date, every conversation, with an aura that is magnetic, unshakable, and profoundly seductive. Now, let's explore what applying the $50,000 date rule really looks like in practice. Because this is where mastery intersects with desire. Imagine entering a restaurant or a bar, where the lighting is soft, the music perfectly curated, and the air tingling with possibility, and you are fully present, fully radiant, fully in your power, knowing exactly what you deserve. When he orders, when he plans, when he engages, you are watching not with judgment, but with evaluation. Is he matching your energy? Is he investing in the experience you've created? This is not superficial, it's strategic, psychological, philosophical, and deeply feminine. I remember an evening where I was on a date with a man who, on paper, should have impressed any woman. Luxury watch, perfect smile, effortless charm, but he failed to read the room, failed to anticipate the subtle cues I gave about what mattered to me, failed to invest in the space I occupied. And I smiled, leaned back, and let the energy shift, because the $50,000 date rule isn't about testing him. It's about honoring yourself. Suddenly, the dynamic changed. The man who thought he was in control found himself leaning in, watching me more closely, adjusting, listening, investing, and it was almost instantaneous, almost biological. The way attraction amplifies when someone senses a woman who values herself as her own currency. This is where subtle dominance, feminine energy, and high-value presence converge. You are not controlling. You are observing. You are not pleading. You are commanding. And the energy you project becomes the standard he is either willing to meet or forever regrets failing to reach. Every glance, every smile, every carefully chosen word is a lesson in worth. And when you understand this fully, you begin to embody a frequency that is irresistible, intoxicating, and unforgettable. And finally, my queens, here is the ultimate truth. The $50,000 date rule is not about extravagant dinners or counting dollars. It is about the audacity to define your worth, the clarity to recognize energy that doesn't meet you, and the mastery to let absence, distance, and your own abundant life communicate what words never could. Men, lovers, partners, they will notice. They will respond. And those who are capable of meeting your energy will rise to the occasion, while the rest will fall away. leaving you with nothing but freedom, joy, and the satisfaction of knowing you have never compromised your value. I remember walking away from a man who couldn't meet the standard, not with bitterness, but with grace, and the shift was extraordinary. The universe responded, opportunities emerged, and eventually, the man who returned was transformed by the very standard I had embodied from the start. This is your call to action. My queens, comment "I needed this," subscribe, turn on notifications, and let this rule anchor into your body, your mind, your energy, because once you claim it, once you embody it, every interaction becomes magnetic, every choice becomes sovereign, and every connection aligns with the woman you are at your highest, most radiant, most untouchable frequency. You are no longer negotiating for attention. You are defining it. You are no longer waiting for validation. You are generating it. You are the $50,000 standard. The dream, the force, and the queen whose presence reshapes desire itself. And as you feel this energy settle into you, know that every glance you give, every smile you share, every moment you carry yourself in sovereignty is a masterclass in attraction, empowerment, and feminine authority that cannot be ignored, challenged, or diluted. And let me tell you, queens, the real power of the $50,000 date rule is not in the numbers, the money, or the extravagance. It's in the energy you carry, the standard you set, and the quiet, unshakable authority you radiate. Imagine this. You arrive at an evening, glowing in your confidence, every movement deliberate, every smile subtly teasing, every gesture commanding attention without a word. And you watch him, the man who once thought he could casually stroll into your world, adjust, lean in, notice, invest, all without you asking. That, my loves, is the alchemy of presence. The moment you stop negotiating your attention, the moment you stop apologizing for your desires, the moment you fully embody the standard you demand, he becomes aware, not in a pushy, frantic way, but in a slow, intoxicating realization that the woman before him is sovereign, luminous, and untouchable. The psychology is simple yet profound. Scarcity enhances value, contrast amplifies desire, and autonomy triggers obsession. When he senses that your attention is earned, not given freely, that your energy is reserved for those who rise to meet it, he begins to invest in ways he never considered before. I've watched it happen countless times. The man who ignored texts suddenly crafts messages so thoughtful it makes your heart skip. The man who arrived late suddenly values every second of your presence. And the man who once hesitated now steps into the rhythm you quietly set, because he realizes that you are the prize, the benchmark, the $50,000 standard of energy and attention. And there is no negotiation, no compromise, no pleading required. Only your serene, magnetic self. And the beauty, queens, is that this standard transcends money. It's about the currency of time, the currency of respect, the currency of emotional energy. It's about showing up fully for yourself, curating a life so rich, so textured, so intoxicating, that any man who cannot rise to that level is simply irrelevant. I remember a dinner where everything seemed perfect: table, the city lights, the wine, but the man failed the unspoken test. He didn't notice the subtle cues I gave about what mattered to me. He didn't create an experience that matched my presence. And in that moment, I smiled, leaned back, and allowed the energy to speak louder than words. Suddenly, he began adjusting, leaning closer, engaging, truly listening, not because I demanded it, but because he sensed the quiet authority in my standard. That, queens, is the core of subtle dominance in dating. It's not aggression. It's not manipulation. It's sovereign energy. It's presence. It's an unspoken command that attracts, fascinates, and elevates desire. Philosophers, psychologists, and even modern social dynamics all point to the same truth. Humans are drawn to value. They chase what challenges them, and they invest in what feels worthy. By embodying this, you transform every interaction, every glance, every dinner, every moment into an expression of your sovereignty, your taste, your standards, and your untouchable allure. And the man who is capable of meeting you there will rise, often amazed by the magnetism you radiate simply by being fully yourself. And finally, my queens, here's the crown jewel of the $50,000 date rule. When you apply it fully, you shift the paradigm of dating and attraction entirely. You are no longer the one reaching, the one adjusting, the one pleading for attention or validation. You are the standard, the authority, the prize, and the woman who defines her own frequency of desire and expectation. He will notice, he will adjust, and he will invest not because he is forced, not because he is persuaded, but because he is captivated, enthralled, and drawn to a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. Every glance, every smile, every word becomes a subtle lesson in value. Every moment of your attention a reward, and every absence a demonstration of sovereignty. This is not about arrogance. It's about mastery. It's about embodying feminine power in its purest, most magnetic form. As you integrate this rule, comment "I needed this," subscribe, turn on notifications, and allow yourself to feel the shift in every interaction, every dynamic, every space you occupy. You are no longer negotiating attention, you are defining it. You are no longer seeking validation, you are generating it. You are the $50,000 standard, the dream, the energy, and the queen whose presence reshapes desire, attraction, and connection itself. And once you fully embody this, queens, there is nothing mediocre, nothing small, and nothing unattainable left in your world, because you have mastered the art of commanding value, attention, and desire without compromising. That, my loves, is the ultimate feminine power, the kind that leaves men mesmerized, fascinated, and forever aware that they are lucky even to exist within your orbit.